Greetings in the best of salutations. And there are five: understanding, tolerance, peace, patience, prayer, prosperity, and power, which demands justice, and justice is the demand of power. The breach of contract, fraudulent behavior. Yes. It is says that trial and error leads to personal discovery. A person, in the Latin sense of the term, is that through which sound is made, a persona, a personification. Per, per, you hear the sound of a cat or a kitten, it purrs. Per motion, per step, per. In a real sense, it takes on a sense of a peering out, a peering out. That which is within your reach, or that which is within your range, and that which is out of range. The ingenuity of the microscope and the telescope, those things were far out of range, put things in range, possibly bring things into perspective. Let's try to bring things into perspective when it comes with this term, word, breach. Breach, the act or a result of breaking. If something is broken, you go about trying to fix it. Something that it's breaking, the ing is on a continuing basis. Many people think of the word democracy, demo, duplication, crasi, strength and power, but demo in the Latin sense is a demon, crasi, strength and power. The breaking of that which may have a stronghold on our minds, our attitude, our thinking, our behavior, and our decisions making. To break something that is an infraction, could be a broken bone, and it needs to be healed, or a violation of trust, and the confidence needs to be restored as well as the trust. Yes, a breaking of laws, Hmm. Um, just because someone makes the law does not mean that it's right. The trust, the faith, creating an environment of misgivings, and you're creating of an environment of misgivings is also associated an environment of doubt. The promise, the biggest crime one can commit is fraud. You promise something that you're unable to come through on. It says, and you take the benefits, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You take the benefits and leave the relationship in doubt. The promise, when you break a promise, you it creates a gap in the relationships. Relationship. The gap. A something that is that the gap widens as opposed to the gap becoming bringing closure. Faith, I mean, just the breaking or the breaching of the faith, one's inability to be empowered and to do great things and to bring about the demands of fair play and justice when it comes to humanity. Some says about the word capital, capital, the breach, the contractual agreement or an arrangement. Competent parties are in agreement one with another. But what if one fixes your car or sells you a car and he's a mechanic and he knows that something is wrong with the car, but he sell it to you anyway? He is liable. He is liable. The trust, the breach, the confidence, the promise, it has been broken, you know. And anytime you deal with a promise that has been broken, it deals with fraudulent behavior. When there's fraudulent behavior, because you offer people false hope. When I mean false hope, I'm going beyond race, class, gender, religion, economics, politics, economics, and education. For example, many may say the first person is in this position, the first person in that position. Man, those days are long gone. Yes. What does that mean when their heart is not right? Hmm? What does that mean? Because they have this position because of their color. What does that mean? What does black mean? Black means a lack. What does white mean? These are just concepts. They are not factual. What is a Jew? A Jew is associated with a jewel. Come from the word Judaism, Yahedah, the reaching out. It is the spread. When people call praise, and praise isn't a form act. But if you know certain things and you mislead the people, you have breached your the contractual agreement and arrangement due to your fraudulent behavior, and therefore you are liable. What is sacred anymore? Is family sacred? We look at buildings and we say that buildings are sacred and someone perished in the building and that building is supposed to be sacred. So it's not sacred anymore. If there's blood, that means that the blood is on your hands. You call yourself to be leaders of the free world when you call yourself a democracy, when you call yourself to be civil or civilized. Cap, pit, toe. The cap is the covering of a head. knowledge, the light. It is says that you can't hide that which is bring forth light. You can't hide it because anything that is hidden should be revealed. So the truth is being revealed when it comes to the dome, the thinking, the manner and way which your people think, and the manner and way in which he or she behaves within a system. It has been exposed. It has been revealed, breached. The pit, a large hole in the ground, conflict of interest, and policy is driven by interest. Jack and the beanstalk, when he fell down, he put a hole in the ground that represents the economy. Look at the word economy. Echo, nomius, nomothi, ethics, and systemized knowledge. The pit, the cat pit toll, the taxing of the mind, the taxing of the people by way of deception, deceit, the lies, turmoil, conflict, and confusion. It has taken its toll. If you can't see that as being revealed, then something is wrong with your perception. Something is wrong with your thinking. That it went as far as it can go. Egalitarianism is on its way. The toll, the charge of payable for position, a permission to be used in as a particular. You're building the bridge, the bridge, the bridge. Closure, huh? All that is taking place is saying you are being exposed. It's time to bring closure. You have went as far as you can go in your thinking, in your fraudulent behavior, in your attitude. When it comes to the philosophy and the ideology of a democracy, and I can get into terms, capitalism, socialism, communism, all those isms. What does all that mean? I'm talking about the behavior and the attitude of a people when it comes from that which is in their heart. Don't be deceived by the first year and the first is that. It says the first constitutional rebellion took place in Boston, the Shays Rebellion. And it represents we the people. People are tired of being the economic base for somebody else's social status. When the laborers are resisting from people or a system that is corrupt and contaminated, that is capitalizing off the ignorance of people, manipulating their circumstances and making us to become enemies of ourselves. People are tired of living in an abundant society, in an affluent society, but yet they're still being lied to, deceived, and living in poverty. There's a brother that says, I call him a brother, if you don't want that for yourself, I can't get it for you. But what is it that is needed? Huh? People call the word spiritual. What is spiritual? Anything that remains in the natural form and natural state. First, we got to look at the correct interpretation of this universe. And that is to live in harmony. That is the order, duty, and responsibility. That is to live in harmony. We come from independent to interdependent. That is that we must level the playing field. That there be no more Big eyes, no little U's. The playing field must be level. So what you see really is people trying to level the playing field, and you've been being exposed that the playing field is not level, and we know that. We the people, we the people of humanity, want access not only to wealth, but we want access to the truth. But how can you get truth out of a liar? That is impossible. How do you expect a person who has been programmed to murder to stop murdering? How do you expect a thief to stop stealing? So you must deal with them accordingly. The cat Kit told, if the foundation is weak, then it will fall. The cat, the head, the pit, the hole that's in the ground, that type of thinking is being buried of exploitation, manipulation, degradation, and exploitation. It is being buried. Because that type of thinking, mentality, and attitude is taking a toll on the minds of people with good hearts who mean well. And never let anyone manipulate you, your mind, your thinking, your behavior, and your attitude. That's why it is said, never put a fool in a position of power. People start thinking that's the model to follow. As I always said, never argue with a fool, because it's hard for the people on the outside to distinguish which one is the fool. So what has been exposed? It's fraudulent behavior, foolishness, degradation, manipulation, exploitation. It is said that the mind can only take so much pressure. The head, before it explodes. In this book, it shares here organized crime and illegal drugs. A host of Hollywood productions romanticized organized crime, showing it to be a lucrative and even venerated American tradition. In real life, the underworld has always generated much of its profits by devastating black communities with drugs, liquor, tobacco, gambling, prostitution, loan sharking, and other illicit predatory businesses. And as in slavery and Jim Crow, the government has been its staunchest ally and partner. While the FBI was harassing and destroying the very black leaders trying to uplift the black community, the Bureau legendary leader J. Edgar Hoover was publicly denying the existence of any organized crime syndicate. And while America's top law enforcers were dutifully harassing black leaders and organizing the king of all bootleggers, Samuel Brofferman, was flooding America with so much illegal bootleg whiskey that the anti-liquor prohibition amendment had to be repealed for its utter uselessness. Arnold Reinstein set up his multi-million dollar drug empire. Even the federal authorities had concluded that Reinstein was the source of the drug trade in America and possibly the world. Later, the Central Intelligence Agency was caught in the act of running crack cocaine from Central America into the black community. Journalist Gary Webb, some of us may know him, of the this San Jose Mercury, uncovered the government's role and paid with his life with the only two-bullet suicide in the history of the world. Rothman's criminal enterprise transformed seemingly into Seagram and the largest liquor in world history, purveyor in world history. It is a model and method followed by many immigrant groups that illegally gain a foothold in the American economy and then use the illicit profits and protocols to invest in legitimate business. The motto is what many of those whites refer to when they say that in America the streets are paved with gold. However, flowing in the gutters is not milk and honey, it's narcotics, cheap liquor, and all the manner of poison contributing to the degradation of the black community. Over centuries, most whites, as individuals and families, have benefited from anti-lack oppression, anti-lack oppression, going beyond race, class, gender, religion, politics, economics, and education, and the transmission of ill-gotten wealth and privilege from one generation to the next. Each generation must define what his or her role is to play in the society. Today, the prosperity, long life expectancies, high standard of living for white Americans are significantly rooted in centuries of exploitation and impoverished of African Americans and other Americans of color. J. Joe R. Finnegan, Sociology. Society is at a crossroads. The breach of the contract, of fraudulent behavior, must bring closure to that fraudulent behavior when it comes to being leaders of what is called the free world. And what has the greatest influence? Leadership, culture, education, government, and religion. Not to mention media, press, and television. Everything transition and change is inevitable. The capital, the cap, the head, the dome, the thinking, the attitude, the mindset. The body, it can take a lot, but the mind, it can't take but so much. The pit puts people in a hole, but there are those who are able to come up out from it. And the toll, the taxing, the burden. So we must not see each other when it comes to the development of our intellect for the betterment of humanity. We must not see each other as a burden one to another. We must see each other and act as that we are responsible to be accountable one for another. I believe it was Robert F. Kennedy, he says about government. He talked about government in his role. Is this misuse of authority and power? Rather than making money off the people, let's make money for the people. We, the people, we will form this perfect union. These liberties that we have, these freedoms, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, even though the people who said that they were self-indulgent people. But happiness is the joy that you feel when you are in pursuit of your potential, and we're all here to reach our full potential in the land of the abundance of this creation, not just here in America, but abroad. And may we make the transition from sympathy to empathy, and not become apathetic. Till the next time, talk to you.